Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Naronchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirahe Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Hare Krishna. Reading from Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 17, text number 22. The chapter is titled Divisions of Faith. Adesha-kale yadadanam apatrebhya cha diyate asatkitam avagnatam tattamasam udaritam. Adesha-kale yadadanam apatrebhya cha diyate asatkitam avagnatam tattamasam udaritam. Adesha-kale yadadanam apatrebhya cha diyate asatkitam avagnatam tattamasam udaritam. Anybody else would like to chant?
Adeshakale yadhanam abhatrebhyascha diyade asatkridam avajnadam tattamasam udahridam.
अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असकृत्तम् अवज्ञातं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्.
अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्यश्च दीयते असत्कृतम् अवज्ञातं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्.
Thank you.
Adeshakale yaddanam apatrebhyascha diyate asatkritam avajnhatam tattamasam udahritam.
Synonyms. Adesha, at an unpurified place, kale, an unpurified time, yat, that which, danam, charity, apatrebhya, to unworthy persons, cha, also, diyate, is given, asatkritam, without respect, avagnatam, without proper attention, tat, that, tamasam, tamasam, in the mode of ignorance or in the mode of darkness. Udharitam is said to be. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And charity performed at an impure place, at an improper time, to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect, is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Please repeat. And charity performed at an impure place,
Performed at an
Performed
impure
at an
place,
impure place
at an improper time,
at an improper time,
to unworthy persons
to
to
unworthy
unworthy persons
or without proper attention
or
or
without
without
attention
attention
and respect,
and
and respect,
is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
he is said to be in the mode of ignorance.
Purport. Contributions for indulgence in intoxication and gambling are not encouraged here. That sort of contribution is in the mode of ignorance. Such charity is not beneficial, rather, sinful persons are encouraged. Similarly, if a person gives charity to a suitable person without respect and without attention, that sort of charity is also said to be in the mode of darkness. Om Agnanatiminandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Srijita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pariyana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Bhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaja Patitanam Pavanebhayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare अदेशकाले यद्दानम् अपात्रेभ्य च दीयते असत्कृतम् अवज्ञातं तामसम् udaritam. And charity performed at an impure place at an improper time to unworthy persons or without proper attention and respect is said to be in the mode of ignorance. Yeah. Very nice verse. One minute. Yeah. So in this section, from 20th verse to 22nd verse, continuation of different things influenced by the different modes of material nature, starting initially with worship influenced by the three different modes: worship in the mode of goodness, worship in the mode of passion, worship in the mode of ignorance, to food in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, to austerities in the mode of sacrifice in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, to austerities in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance. And now, in this section, it talks about charity in mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. The 20th verse is the start of this particular section, where it talks about charity in the mode of goodness. So we will revise that of what we already heard a couple of days back. So the charity in mode of goodness is one which is given out of duty without any form of expectation in return. Right? We give charity without any expectation of return. Is normally considered as charity in the mode of goodness. It is given at proper time and place. Right? Example could be pilgrimage place or a proper time, and times I mentioned, either it's solar or lunar eclipse or at the end of the month, or as I was mentioned in the morning, in the days of Sankranti, when the sun is coming into the northern hemisphere, is considered as charity in mode of goodness. Then, to a worthy person, right? To a worthy person is also charity in a mode of goodness. Now, worthiness is described as one who is spiritually qualified, right? Spiritually, for spiritual perfection is the determination bar for worthiness. Not that, oh, this person really needs it, is very, very poor, but no, but at the same time is unworthy. Could be very, very poor, but could be unworthy, right? So, spiritual perfection is a consideration for charity in the mode of goodness. Examples of worthy persons are qualified Brahmana or a Vaishnava or sannyasis in a moment, or spiritual master. Such so that's considered as charity in the mode of goodness, and it has tremendous benefit to the person giving charity. And in that words, we also talk about condemned charity, which is given to a poor but unworthy person. So then it does not offer any spiritual advancement, right? Then the previous verse talks about charity in passion. That charity in passion is normally determined as one where we have some expectation in return. We desire some fruitful results, either elevation to heavenly kingdoms by offering charity to demigods, or offering gifts to institution where sense gratification goes on, right? Gifts to institution where sense gratification goes on. And another very subtle point is not only offering to institutions where sense gratification goes on, but charity offered in grudging mood, right? Charity, you don't want to really give charity, but in very grudging mood, now you are offering charity with great trouble and repentance afterwards, that, oh, why I offered charity? Oh, this, that, or there's family disturbance, that, oh, why you offered charity to this person? So that's grudging mood, right? Or charity offered by some obligation, by some superior, right? A boss tells you that, oh, you should give charity to my organization, and you suddenly, out of superior influence to please your boss, you are giving charity. That is in the mode of passion. Charity in the mode of passion. Right. Given under obligation at the request of a superior. Charity in the mode of passion. And in these particular words, it talks about adesha kale, right? Improper time, improper place, to an unworthy person, right? Where how the unworthiness is determined, contribution for indulgence in intoxication and gambling. Somebody comes, cleans your car or cleans your windshield and immediately asks for charity, right? And you give them a charity, and what next that person is going to do? He's going to indulge himself in intoxication. That charity is neither beneficial to the person receiving the charity nor beneficial for the person giving the charity, because now you are encouraging him to indulge in intoxication. So the person giving it also instead of getting benefit, commit some sinful activity, right? So that's a charity in the mode of ignorance. And then a very subtle point which is made here. Now, not only charity which is offered to unworthy person or for sinful activities, but even if the charity is offered to a worthy person, but without proper attention and respect. Like somebody comes from a temple to ask for a charity, and without proper attention and respect, oh, go away, take this check. You want this money? Take this check. Right? Without proper attention and respect. That is also considered as charity in the mode of ignorance. So that's in the nutshell which we discuss in this section of charity in these three modes of nature, material nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Are there any discussions on this subject matter?
Hare Krishna Madhupati Babu.
Yeah.
Can you clarify a little bit more about the improper time and improper place?
Yeah, improper time and improper place. Charity, improper time, improper place. Somebody, adesha kale. There are improper times for asking for charity, just like it's mentioned, like charity asked at night. It's improper time for asking for charity or something. Or like in the mode of goodness, it is mentioned charity at the end of the month. Right. So it's normal. So those are some considerations which are given for timings. That what timings charity is normally asked for, right? Adesha kale yad danam, at an unpurified place. No, unpurified place. Somebody knocks to you when you are going to a restroom and asks for a charity. Unpurified place, right? an unpurified time, right? You are in sleeping and somebody comes, wakes you up. Oh, Prabhuji, can you give me charity? Right. Unpurified time, impure place and improper time to unworthy person, right? Apatra. Patra means worthy person. Apatra means unworthy person. Apatra beer to unworthy persons. Did you get his sense at all about the unpurified place? Just like Charity asked at the pilgrimage place, is in the mode of goodness. Unpurified place, like you are yourself unfortunately through your work have gone to a bar or some it's unpurified place, and somebody comes and asks for a charity or something. Unpurified place. The place itself is impure. First of all, a devotee does not tries himself his best not to go to that impure place. But even if suppose he somehow lands into some circumstances and then somebody asks for a charity there, impure place.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Prabhuji, one question. What are the characteristics one should be looking in the charity recipient, a charitable organization? One should be looking to think they are worth or not worth, or is it
yeah,
like a binary finally?
yeah, very good. What are the characteristics one should look at, whether they are worthy or not? Whether the cause is worthy, especially as we discuss about in the mode of goodness, the spiritual consideration is given too much importance. That is a cause for spiritual benefit to somebody. Somebody is knocking, Prabhuji, I don't have money. Can you give me some money? I want to buy Bhagavad Gita, right? Or I want to buy Srimad Bhagavatam or something which will really benefit. A spiritual qualification is considered, right? Or like we have this Sastradhan, spiritual benefit is considered. So from Sastradhan, we give to a hotel or this or that and that. The person unknowingly also, if he picks up Bhagavad Gita, he gets spiritual benefit, right? So that is considered as worthy cause. So that determination should be there that, oh, where this charity is going to be used, right? If the charity is going to be used for some sense gratification, or even if it is like, especially nowadays, people may come up with a worthy cause, right? But ultimately, they swindled whatever collection has been made for their own sense gratification. So that should also be looked at, right? That okay, is this organization, though they may represent a genuine organization, are they really loyal to that organization, and are they really going to use it for the purpose where what they're asking for, right? So those are all the considerations one should make while giving charity, because in especially in this day and age, Kali Yuga, when something happens, so many people will come out to raise charity, And we don't know really, whether these are genuine charity or whether the person handling the charity is genuine, or though uh, there may be uh, ultimately to the recipient nothing may go. There are places where they do like that, where suddenly for some uh, cause which worthy cause, so suddenly they start raising money, and to the recipient nothing will go, because in between it's all used for sense gratification, right? So that one should really look into. Is that all right, Sandeep?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay.
A follow-up question, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
If a charitable organization or the recipient is from someone's from their standpoint, if qualified and worthy of receiving, right, then why is importance given to time and place though?
Yeah. Why importance is given to templates? Well, as I mentioned when we discuss about time and place, is like uh, that charity, there may be uh, a worthy, just like a worthy organization, but they are asking charity. Just like you are visiting a restroom and they ask for a charity. Same pure place. Normally they won't, but if they just ask you wherever you are at an impure place, at not even a good time to ask. So Stan, Kal, all those places are things are also important and place importance. Where it's, um, uh, that's that's where that's this that you don't ask for charity at an impure place. And impure place is basically an example is a restroom or something. But otherwise, there are many impure places, like the bar or these or that. No, these are all impure places. So that's where that importance is given. And normally, you not see that happening, but sometimes you never know. People
Okay.
at some bar also might be raising charity for something. Means help the bar girls or these or that. So they start raising charity. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji.
My personal experience has been that I remember years back uh, driving at a place in US, and suddenly I was at a stoplight, and a person came, cleaned up my windshield and asked for money. And now I had a whole jar of peanuts, and I gave it to him, and immediately gave it back to me that, oh, we don't take, we don't eat peanuts. Ultimately, he wanted money to indulge in intoxication, right? So then that charity is considered as charity in the mode of ignorance, where you will be encouraging somebody to indulge in intoxication, right? Or give me some money, like I really want to eat this burger with meat. Though he may be hungry, we can give him some fruits. We can give him some prasad. Or get him something. So those consideration normally is kept. Now sometimes, uh, as much as possible, we should abide by that consideration. some places out of obligations, just like a local police force comes and asks for charity to the temple, and temple as part of public relationships may have to give some charity to them. Yeah, but that consideration should be there. That that may not be the highest form of charity. It may be uh, used for some wrong purpose.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
What about organ donation? I
What
know they
about
say we should not defile the body because that's not recommended. But what happens after the person has died?
Yeah. What about organ donation? Yes. Now, say suppose the organ is donated and the person uses the organ for the wrong purpose. What happens? Right.
Mm.
Those considerations also there. Now, if it is used for the right purpose, the right genuine person, like no, there's this entire Barsana eye camp run by the Bhaktivedanta Hospital, right? And it's done free of charge, and many people give that time for that charity. Many people give money for that charity, right? So it's, and at times, say suppose um, some organ is also donated for that, right? A devotee. Oh yes, a classic example. One of our senior devotee in the movement had a liver transplant, right? And one of another devotee donated,
Mhm.
right? Now, and that's when it is done, and for the Vaishnava, whom we already know, that means for their cause, or mother donating, in our congregation, a mother donating her kidney to her daughter, right? So organ donation. So the patra has to be looked at, right? So you know that it is going to be used for the right purpose, right? Rice is then that's can be given. That's not only child, that's also sacrifice, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance for all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thanks for the class, Prabhu.
Thank you.
My question is, see, now we understand charity as kisi ka bhala karne ka, to do good for somebody.
Yeah.
And the ultimate good is for his soul. Of course, the bodily good is also important, but the ultimate good is the soul. So anything you give the person about Krishna consciousness, that's the ultimate good, whether prasadam, whatever.
Yeah.
So, Prabhu, with this in mind of charity, even when we speak to somebody about Krishna conscious, like Yare Dekhe Tara Kaho, that is also charity. Now, that really doesn't consider time, place, and the person, correct? So he could be a drunkard. He could be a lecherous person. And you're talking about Krishna conscious term. It could be in the night, or in my case, when we used to do wining dining with a customer, and they ask you why you are vegetarian. And that becomes a segue to talk about Krishna consciousness in a very mild way. But you're still giving them the prasad bhoga concept over meat, which is being eaten, and drinks also.
Yeah.
So, does anything about Krishna consciousness really apply to this time, place, and person?
Yeah, so in the next section of this chapter, from 23rd verse onwards, you'll hear about that. That now, ultimately, all this consideration is there about charity in the mode of goodness, charity in the mode of passion, charity in the mode of ignorance. But if it is done by one reciting Om Tat Sat for the benefit of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? All these things does not apply. And nicely in subsequent verses, you will read and hear that means what Om Tat Sat means. That means any sacrifice which we perform, initially we chant Om, right? Then Tat, right? So and Sat, the absolute truth. Ultimately, the beneficiary is the absolute truth, right? So when it is done for the benefit of Krishna consciousness, this the sthana kala does not apply. Time plus circumstances does not apply. Right. So that is there to answer almost like giving, as you mentioned, giving book to a drunkard. Now, you can. I was just this point was coming to me that in one sense, what is that book? Right, it's a transcendental book. So consider that book for a while as a somebody is a drunkard. So ultimately, what is happening to him? He is drowning in material existence. So if somebody is drowning in material existence and a lifeguard gives him a ring to come out of that material existence, right? So a preacher is giving him basically just like a lifeguard gives him to a drowning person a ring. A preacher is giving him a book, which if he grabs that book, it will take him out of that material existence, right? So that where then you'll understand that this consideration of time, place, circumstance does not much apply. Where now, like to Mahaprabhu, Govinda, his personal servant, asked that, okay, uh, what if while attending a call of nature, if I leave my body, can I chant the holy name when I'm attending the call of nature?
Yeah.
Right. And Mahaprabhu said, oh, okay. Right. Chanting does not get contaminated. Right. So holy name also in that sense. But here when we are talking about charity, it's more about charity of, prasad, charity of clothes, charity of money. But yeah, ultimate charity is giving them Krishna consciousness, is ultimate charity.
Mm.
Distributing prasad, ultimate charity. Yeah.
Actually, Prabhu, this distribution of prasad in Radha Gopinath Mandir, Mumbai, the congregation, the temple makes these little, because in India there are a lot of beggars, small children, and traffic light, and all these things. And sadly, over here also you see more and more, especially in, if you go to the Newark area, or even in New York City, and all that, a lot of homeless people, and they're always asking for money. So they make these little prasad packets of whatever, peanut and mishri and whatever, small, and the congregation buys it, 1 rupee, 2 rupees, whatever it is, some small amount, and it's prasad, and they distribute that instead of giving money to the poor people. So that way also, if someone is working here in New York or in Newark area, or whatever, where there are a lot of people, I'm thinking that same thing. It really is not much, and it's all dry items, nothing cooked.
Yeah.
Like peanuts and that khadi sakar and pumpkin seed, or all. It's just assembled and offered to Bhagwan, and then prasad karke. It's put in little plastic packets, and devotees buy that for the week, whatever, 10, 20, 50 packets.
Yeah. I used to buy when I was in Bombay.
Yeah, so you know what it is. Yeah.
When I'll go to on Sundays to attend the program, I'll buy it and I used to distribute it. Now, and it's good that it's, somebody has come to bag instead of keeping a hard heart. A devotee's heart is compassionate. We should give them something as prasad. Now, just as I was mentioning you the example of here, I gave them a person a jar of peanuts and he gave it back to me. So here considerations could be something has to be watched. You never know. Suddenly he may eat a packet and suddenly feign unconsciousness, and you are put in jail. So what is in this packet? So those considerations should be there. Our temple, it's like Govinda's buffet when we have leftovers, considerable amount. Where does it? Many times we have taken it to homeless place here in Plainfield, and they are welcoming us like anything at any time. Even on a Sunday feast leftover, we take it to homeless place. It gets distributed there, right? We do it on festivals, we do it on Sundays, we do it on Saturday, Govindas, when we had that corporate program. Many times we had leftover because the number was not fixed. Some people will put their orders at the last moment and they'll be sorted. Some days it will be leftover. And instead of throwing it, devotee's natural instinct is, or if it can benefit somebody, and they'll take it to homeless place. Yeah. And whatever we distribute is very beneficial. Like during the Thanksgiving and Christmas time, we make fruit baskets and distribute to our neighbors around the temple, and people are so receptive. Like this Christmas, I went to the door to distribute prasad, fruit baskets which I had gotten made. Right. To all my neighbors on Shiloh Court, to neighbors next to a temple, on both sides, even behind, and they were very, very receptive to accept prasad. And that should be a common thing, which will bind us. People, if it is nicely packaged, to our congregations will also take that to distribute it to their neighbors. Right. And then it opens up avenues to talk about Krishna. In my lane, which is right across the temple, Silo Court, people, especially one neighbor, whenever cars were parked, she will call the cops, right? And cop will give ticket to all the devotees who have come to the temple and who was parked on my lane. But last few years I've been doing this. It has softened her. That out of 10 festivals, 9 festivals will not call the cops. Right. Yes, changes their heart. No. So, and more we bring them to Krishna consciousness. That same neighbor had after this time he was out of town on Christmas Day, but he came a few days back because he must have seen me on his video doorbell. So he came a few days back to also exchange, give me some gift, and I gave him the fruit basket which I was not able to give him. And immediately, he started talking about, oh, my brother is also a pastor and this, that. And next thing I did is I gave him Vanity Karma book. My brother is a pastor. This is like, commentary on Old Testament based on Bhagavad Gita. It will benefit. And he was so thankful about it. So, we grab opportunities like that. That we consider some person who is going to read. We have amassed enough. If they consider, oh, okay, no, it's too costly, Bhagavatam said, or this or that, okay, we just buy and give it to them. Hopefully, it will, if they are really going to read, it will benefit them. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay, any other question, discussion?
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to
Dandavat
Shila.
Pranam, Dattata Prabhu.
Yeah, just Amritananda Prabhuji's the question, very, very nice question. Actually, the street beggar. So sometimes we used to give the prasadam to them. Prasadam is fine, not money. Whatever I have seen, when we give the money, then they took the money and went to the wine shop and buy the liquor and they are drinking. So instead of money, that the prasadam, clothes, etc. will be beneficial. Books, that is the charity is maybe helpful for them. And another question is about the Mahaprabhu. One time, Mahaprabhu went to the toilet. So Mahaprabhu always, we know that Mahaprabhu always attached with the Krishna. So okay, he is also, he forgot, he is also continuously thinking on Krishna. So and during the toilet time, he was also thinking Krishna. Then remember, he just woke up. That is, oh, what I am doing. Then he was biting his tongue. Oh, I did mistake. That was also, that is that, and Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also mentioned that Mahaprabhu also, both of them actually mentioned that those who doesn't want to listen Krishna's name, don't go to them. Straight. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it was very clearly it was written, that is, no, don't go to them. Just approach. If they do not want to listen, don't go to them. So charity is not help on that case also.
I was mentioning a contrary point about Govinda and Mahaprabhu, where Govinda kind of mentioned about
Yes, it is the
contrary point where
yeah.
Govinda mentioned, oh, what if somebody gives up his life while he is a person attending call of nature?
Yeah.
And Mahaprabhu allowed, yeah. So chant.
Yes.
He allowed chanting.
Yeah. But in Mahaprabhu's case, Mahaprabhu, why he bite his tongue?
Yeah.
that is. Yeah.
So when Govinda gave that example, he said, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also the pastime of Gopal Guru, the young boy. There was another associate of Mahaprabhu, I forget his name. He was so addicted to chanting, but when he would go for nature's call, he would hold his tongue because his tongue continuously used to vibrate the Mahamantra. And then Gopal Guru, that small boy, told him that, don't you know you can chant anywhere, anytime. Doesn't matter where you are. And that's how he got the name Gopal Guru, because he gave the instruction of this. Or even that famous Muslim person, when he was answering nature's call, haram, haram. He was, when the boar came to kill him, but that haram, unknowingly he took Rama's name and got delivered.
Yeah. 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 Good discussion. Thank you.
So one day I was listening the class from His Grace, His Holiness Jayadutta Maharaj. It is in our Central News actually. It is in the house program. So he was mentioning that, as what I remember, that is charity. Charity, very careful to give the charity. Maharaj mentioned that very, very careful.
Yeah.
So it is in the right way or it is in the wrong way. You have to think before you give the charity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very careful. It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Based on these three divisions, nicely explained in Bhagavad Gita about charity in mode of goodness, charity in mode of passion, charity in mode of ignorance, or charity for the higher purpose. Then all these considerations are not there of the modes. Om Tat Sat. It's for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the highest.
This is the highest. Yeah. This is the topmost.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much. Balaram Nitai Prabhu, you have something?
No, Prabhuji, sorry, I got I joined late, but I thought let me. Yeah.
Very nice to hear your voice.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Very well. Yes. Any question? Discussion?
Prabhuji, yes, charity we qualified worthy. That factor plus time and place we said. But the majority of the charity happens in the world. I kind of think in the ignorance because there are always benefits expected, non-spiritual material type. So how does one should try to make himself free of those? Because as let's say example, most of the times I would say I am putting $1, but I am expecting $100 in return.
Yeah, that's
Or
charity in the mode of passion.
Probably it's a repeat question, but just asking.
No, that's all right. That's good. It's a charity in the mode of passion that we have some expectation in return. Right? So that's a charity in the mode of passion. So it's mostly used for some sense gratification purpose, where you give charity to somebody who's going to use it for some sense gratification. And the person giving the charity is, just as you mentioned, is expecting something in return. That okay, I give just like at work. Sometime you have at my work they have in Thanksgiving they collect charity as toys or food or this or that. You give charity, uh, and whatever dollar amount of charity you give, you get that many raffle tickets, and then they raffle it, and if you're lucky, you may win an iPad or this or that or that or that. Charity in the mode of passion. Okay, it's gone to some needy people, right? You are expecting something in return, right? Charity in the mode of passion. Yeah.
Passion, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. It is a nice section, especially when we read in detail. And when I was preparing, I also read verses after this, and it gives you such a clear understanding of, just like Amrita Babu was asking about what if it is given at improper time or place of Krishna consciousness given. And Om Tat Sat, that the explanation of that in subsequent verses, when it is done for the benefit of the Supreme Lord, all this consideration goes away. That's why, just like the end of the 5th chapter, we have this verse, Bhuktaram Vyagatapasam Sarvalokamaishwaram, right? When he is a supreme enjoyer, right? He is a supreme beneficiary. So if it is done for the Supreme Lord, right, that's the highest form of charity, highest form of sacrifice, highest form of performance of yajna. Right. Performance of yajna is to satisfy the Supreme Lord. That's why we have in the Krishna Lila this pastime of the ritualistic Brahmanas who were so much absorbed in performing yajna. And when the coward boys came to ask for alms for Krishna and Balaram, they said, oh, no, no, no. They denied. And the wives who were cooking the items to be for their husbands to be offered in the yajna, as soon as they were approached, they readily gave up all the preparations because it was for the satisfaction of Krishna and Balaram. Right. So that's the topmost form. Satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, the topmost form. So the Supreme Beneficiary.
So, Prabhuji, now suppose we are doing a Krishna conscious activity,
Yeah.
but there are competing interests. So, for example, like, Sachirani and I, we were talking,
Yeah.
like, suppose there is, some God Brothers project and
Yeah.
he needs help. Now, let's say in terms of supporting it in terms of Lakshmi. Now, both Sachirani and I feel that our first commitment is to the congregation that we are associated with. So, Radha Sham Sundarji congregation. And every grasti has his or her limit as to a budget, you can say, based on the capacity, what you can do. Now, when there are, and both are Hare Krishna, both are qualified, so to say. So when there are these conflicting interests, or rather I would say competing interest, how does a devotee decide? Like for me personally and Sachirani, we'd say, first priority is because this is where we are at and this is our house. So you take care of your house first and then later on somebody else. But suppose there is someone who is more attached and then he says, okay, I'll help my God Brothers project.
Yeah, it's up to the person, because as you mentioned, in both cases, it is going to be used for a higher purpose to satisfy the Supreme Lord. Right? If in both cases it is to satisfy the higher purpose to serve the Supreme Lord, it's up to where his faith lies. If his faith lies that, okay, I want to serve my local temple, local congregation, because I'm benefiting from that, fine. You come tomorrow, you want to serve somewhere else. As you mentioned, competing interest, but that there also it is fair for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. We say fine. I mean, do what. No, whatever pleases you, because you are no, ultimately last thing which do is legislate where that person should give. Right. Just like when our temple, we had just purchased a temple, right, in Plainfield. A lot of renovations was to happen at our temple, right? And there was a big budget that, okay, all this repair work had to happen to prepare for the opening, right? The DT, this, that. And in same time, at that time, TOVP came for our Temple of Vedic Planetarium project. Now, part of us says, so no, we ourselves are looking, how can we support this? But when the experience was When you open up your heart instead of legislating it, when you open up your heart, they will also, the congregation will benefit even given to them, and congregation will benefit even given to us. When you control it to, we ourselves are looking, we won't allow you to come in, it kind of disturbs the mood much more, where people, if they were thinking of giving X amount of dollars to a temple, they'll think, oh, forget about it. No, they are petty minded. They won't give that X amount of dollars to the temple.
So not so much as legislating, but more in terms of the Vaishnav etiquette. I don't know in what umbrella to put it under, but suppose, like as I told you, Sachirani and myself, we have more attachment with the local temple. Someone else may have with their God Brothers project, for example, which is fine. But then, is there any aparadha, so to say, like you are also duty bound to help your God family or whatever, but then because of your preference or your this, you're not helping.
It's not, I would say, more as duty bound or so, but it's more like normally place which from which you benefit, from which you and your family is immediately benefiting. That priority wise could be higher in the recipient level, right? My main contribution may go there, right? Because me and my family are really benefiting from that. So though I may want to give my contribution to X, Y, Z projects, but my main contribution would be at a project where which really benefits me or something. So that is looked at more on a personal level or something. But no, it's just as that's not something which, just as I mentioned, where somebody would not come tomorrow on a ground level. They may say, "Oh, we just want to give 100, and to TOVP I want to give 1100,000." No, it's okay. No, it's Hare Krishna. Whatever your interest is, fine. Right. At the end of the day, it kind of boils down to, okay, no, it's, whatever is inspiring you more in Krishna consciousness. Both are compelling, both are for Krishna consciousness. But at the end of the day, is it where your faith lies. Right. That faith cannot be, forced, because whenever people are coerced, just like, as we talked about charity in a mode of passion, right? Worthy person, worthy temple, right? To get the charity. But when there is force given by the superior, right, it becomes charity in the mode of passion.
Yeah.
Then that grudgingly they will give. They're forcing me to give, and grudgingly they give. Right? Not lovingly, grudgingly they give. Because there's a force given by peer pressure or whatever superior or whatever dynamics you call. Right? That becomes charity in a mode of passion. Classic thing which we just read about in the previous words. charity in a mode of passion. It is now influenced by the modes. It's not influenced by higher purpose, Krishna consciousness, right? And at the end of the day, the benefit of that also, there are many things where the benefit of that also then, say if you get charity, a place gets charity like this grudgingly from people, and from that charity, if they cook food, that congregation's mode of passion will increase. See how all those things are related. Where there are a lot of implications like that.
Prabhu, if I can,
Yeah.
Something, I don't know whether I'm being silly, but it bothers me.
Yeah.
Now, devotees, when we engage in some seva, so for
Mhm.
example, if I do cooking, then, sometimes two things. One is, of course, and Prabhupada said that whoever is the server should eat first before the whole crowd comes. But for me personally, as a servant, you eat last, whether I get it or I don't get it. And then sometimes what happens is that even before the congregation would come or the guests come, and before you serve out also, you pack not only your plate, but even, your dabba for the next week and all that. So then it becomes transactional is what I feel. Ki abhi mera hak ho gaya. I did seva. So now I'm entitled to take a, whatever. And that is more of a passion to be doing such a thing.
Yeah.
So how do we not feel entitled that, I am doing a favor to whoever, whether it is the head cook or whether it is the temple or whatever.
Yeah.
Rather than look at it as a favor is being done on me for my spiritual life, that I get this opportunity.
Yeah.
So how do we? Otherwise it becomes passion. I'm doing it in return for something.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it's a good point. So first of all, whatever service which we do, right, that should be done with that consciousness that it is for my benefit. I was just talking to one devotee during the week, and he was in our conversation. He was kind of mentioning, the temple, temple kind of needs this, and and at times me and my wife decided that to help the temple in this way, as charity, to help the temple. And I kind of, because he was a devotee, I kind of mentioned to him, look at that, as you mentioned, that this is to help yourself. What you are doing, come tomorrow, you give, you don't give, temple is not going to close. Temple will go on running. It is running on the wheel of the Supreme Lord. It's not running on somebody's donation. It's running on the wheel of the Lord. Right. So if you are donating it, it is helping you, not directly the temple. So if you think that just like some grudge is there. Oh, your temple, I'm there, temple ke liye, well, no, then it's given for the higher purpose, but still not in that proper mood. So that service or doing anything, the proper mood is it is for our benefit. If we are doing service, it is for our benefit. It is if we are giving charity, it is for our benefit. If we are giving time, it is for our benefit. So that's one point. So the other point is like the entitlement. Yeah. So Dabba, this, that is one thing, but no, it's there that when some sacrifice is given from certain time to certain time, that okay, no, it's at the same time, it's that server, should take prasadam, right? Properly, it's where he should not, even it's mentioned like a devotee on the altar, right? For Janmashtami, the whole day is serving. Jananivas Prabhu, when he was here, he said, no, even if it is Janmashtami, let him take prasad. Serving on the altar, he has to go back on the altar after taking prasad. Fine, let him take prasad and go back on the altar. So far, he has not attended nature's call. So, he is in the right consciousness too. So, where, and on a similar point, I was reading about, which I sent to some devotees also about. Hari Parshad Prabhu recently wrote about this entire Sutaka thing. Right, somebody passes away in our family, and we for certain days don't do service. And with references, he kind of laid out where he said that on the references, if somebody is fixed up in doing some devotional service, that take precedence over any sutaka. Right? That take precedence over any sutaka.
Prabhu, it's only for DT service, or it could even be like Sunday cooking service or Govinda
Any
service, or
service.
any service.
Even including DT service. So, just imagine somebody passed away in my family, and if I'm, I can go on the DT altar and do the service. He says, if it was your turn to go, forget about the sutaka, but fulfill your turn and do the service. And I remember years back, my grandmother had passed away, and I had to wash the pots, and I asked the temple president at that time to ask that, oh, okay, what should I do? He said, oh, he thought about for a while. He said, oh, well, the service is more important. Do the service. Rather than this external consideration of this or that or that. So that's where now. So, but if he's taking prasad, yeah, so that he can properly serve afterwards. That should be the mood. But then about packing up for the next day or this day or that day, that is excessive greed. Right? And one thing, just as we are controlling calm, love, more, greed also needs to be controlled. Right? So that packing up business before serving out should stop, because that just increases our greed. Right? You are stopping some worthy recipient of having prasadam. because you have packed up your dabbas to increase our greed. That's how it should be seen. So that's where it should be done in proper consciousness that, hey, no, yes, if there's leftover, the take is one thing. But you pack up beforehand, because tomorrow I have to go to work, my lunch, this, that, right? So that's not, that just increases our greed. Right. There's a class going on where we are supposed to hear Krishna conscious class, and my mind goes, oh, the Mahaprasad has come out, or forget about the class. Suddenly my legs start going towards the Mahaprasad table. Greed. That needs to be controlled. Right? Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Sadhu.
Hare Krishna Madhupati Prabhu.
Yeah.
Hari Bol. Okay. Just a follow-up question on that.
Yeah.
For clarification purpose.
Yeah.
Let's say that scenario that Mataji came for cooking service from 3 o'clock on, or whatever, 2 o'clock on, and 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock when they're going home. We might say to take a plate for your children also. Because now they may not have a time go home and cook, because it might get delay and this and that and whatever. So I think that's appropriate, or you think it's not?
Yeah, well, if the idea is okay, that they were to perform some duties, and now they instead help doing this duty, and they have to fulfill their obligations of feeding their family, fine. In limitation, do that. But not to the excess, for next day. Many times the consideration is the children might have already eaten. Next day they will eat this. Right? Or a day after they will eat this. So that should be done in some limitation or something, that okay,
Hello.
a plate or something.
भैया एक सेकंड.
I think you have to mute, Mataji, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Madhupati. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Vaishnavebhyo Namo ki jai.
Jai.
Ki jai.
Jai. Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Jai.
Gaur Bhagavad ki jai. Nithai Gaur Premanand. Hari Hari Bol.
Bol.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Hari Bol.
Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Hare